It's Hump Day Wednesday, November 6th, and you're listening to the Day Weather Podcast. Well, we're going to sound a little bit like a broken record because the weather over the next 5 or 6 days is going to be the same pattern. Cold fronts are going to come across western Canada through Montana and into Wyoming and western South Dakota and Nebraska about every day and a half to 2 days or so. The next one is already pushed into the region, but we have the Continental Divide, which is going to play a really big role on who sees what. These cold fronts are going to be just deep enough to get into the eastern plains of Montana, Wyoming, northeastern Colorado, western South Dakota, western Nebraska, and western Kansas. But they're not deep enough to jump over the mountains. So west of the Continental Divide for western Wyoming, western Colorado, far southwestern Montana, basically the weather's going to be great, cool, sunny, dry weather. But east of the divide, these cold fronts will bring kind of a soupy mix of low clouds, fog. There's light snow and light freezing drizzle across southern Montana and northeastern Wyoming this morning. The area that's going to be picked on the most will be northeastern Wyoming, western South Dakota, and southern Montana. Those are the areas that are going to get a little bit of snow accumulation, ice accumulation, and will be the coldest. You get along the I-25 corridor of Wyoming into Colorado, I-70, I-76, and I-80 east of the divide, it'll get a little soupy as well. This current front, though, will be retreating and gone, and for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, those are 3 days where the weather looks great. If you need to rake up some leaves, maybe you want to be ahead of the curve and get those Christmas lights up, well, Thursday through Saturday is a great opportunity because both sides of the divide, the weather will be really good. However, by late Saturday night, another cold front, this time a pretty strong one, is going to go into Montana and northern Wyoming by late Saturday afternoon and evening. By late Saturday night and Sunday morning, this is a pretty intense Arctic front that'll sweep across the eastern areas of the divide Sunday into Veterans Day Monday, bringing some light snow and much colder temperatures. Now, the worst of the cold with this front is going to stay east of us. The Midwest, the Great Lakes, you're going to hear it on the news. They're going to see some really bona fide cold winter weather hit the nation's midsection this weekend and early next week. We're going to see big lake effect snows. The type of cold that's going into the Great Lakes this weekend and early next week is January type cold, kind of like what we experienced here a couple of weeks ago as we ended October. Now they get a taste of it, and it does look like a pattern is evolving for the month of November where it's going to be more often than not colder east of the divide and more unsettled, while west of the divide, it's not going to be as unsettled. Basically, the Continental Divide, at least for the month of November, appears to be the dividing line between weather patterns. So, if you're west of the divide, not looking bad for the next couple of weeks for the most part. East of the divide, the weather will be more changeable. We'll go through more in the way of fluctuations. And we're probably going to go into the last 10 days of November, probably seeing the weather pattern get more active again with better chances for snow and unsettled weather for just about everybody. Thanks for listening to the Day Weather Podcast. Have a great Wednesday.